Hey friends, just a little update. Not a little update. It's actually going to be quite a long video because I told people on TikTok that I was going to come over here and do a long video about sort of why this has been such like a struggle. Besides the fact that I had major surgery and it's a struggle, and sort of learning more about myself in terms of that, and so I still am not sleeping well. And from what I've heard from other people is that sometimes it takes 3 or 4 weeks before you're sort of settled enough to sleep all right. I do think I'm sleeping better, which is a plus. Um, I've been trying to keep busy, but I do find myself sort of just falling off and kind of doing nonsensical stuff, which I think is hard for me after the fact because I am one of those people that like always has a list, always has a thing, always to just be like watching TV for long periods of time and then getting up every hour and doing something and then like being on TikTok or being on YouTube or and then getting up. I hate to say it, I feel lazy, which is definitely that sort of colonizer bullshit that gets fed to you, Puritan values bullshit. I'm trying to break myself of because it's not healthy. I literally have an like an artificial hip. I don't need to be doing anything other than what I'm doing. Um, but this video is more about sort of like my mental health in terms of um, all that's going on. You know, um, I think when you have something that you really, really love and you really sort of rely on, um, for your mental well-being and for your emotional well-being and as an outlet for yourself, I do not advocate using exercise as a form of therapy. If you need therapy, go to therapy. I've been in therapy for 20 plus years. If you need meds, take meds. Don't pretend that spritzing lavender on your fucking pillow is going to take away your anxiety. um, but for a lot of you, you know that I was very, very obese. Like I was technically morbidly obese. Um, so I topped out at around 280 back in the day. Started walking, started just using it was like a drugstore pedometer. I think I got it from like Rite Aid, or even maybe Rite Aid was Eckerd's back then. Anyway, it was free, so I was doing that. Then I slowly started, just doing portion control, nothing crazy. Literally would flip the box over and be like, oh, I'm only supposed to have 2/3 a cup of macaroni. I'm only going to have 2/3 a cup of macaroni, and then fill the rest with vegetables and proteins and, things like that. So, um, and I lost a bunch of weight. And then I got kind of unhealthy with it. I went super, super low carb, and my mental health sort of took a dive. Anyone who knew me back then knew when I had got down to about 120 that I was looking a bit rough. Um, so the pandemic hit, I put on a few. And my goal was, this sort of training time around when the races started up again, because I've been running for uh, over a decade. And it's always nice to just have like a goal. And being a runner doesn't necessarily mean that I have to, um, I like to beat times of myself. I was never someone who stood up on the podium or anything like that. It would just be like, oh, I finished this race in 60 something minutes and 63 minutes. Next race, I want to finish in 60. And that would be my goals, would just be knocking off a little bit. So I would change my training program. And I was training so hard for this race. Anyway, um, so running and kind of doing these things where I would set up these training programs and eating programs and stuff like that was really good for me emotionally. Um, because it kept me on track and it kept me from sort of delving into a world where I just cared about being skinny. Um, and I don't think a lot of people understand how painful that was. Like I had to up my therapy quite a bit. I usually was seeing her every couple of weeks just as a check-in, and now it's every week. And that's because when you lose something like that, you sort of go through this grieving process, right? And other people just be like, "Oh, you'll find something else." It's such a dick thing to say. I'll give you like an extreme version of that. This is extreme. This is not compared to this at all. But it's like saying if you had two kids and you lost one kid, don't worry, you have the other kid. When you love something, you love something. I know that's an extreme, you know, whatever um, example, but you don't say that to someone who's grieving. So my goal has always been to continue racing. Um, because it gave me so much. Running gave me so much. And I was really like, I had that half marathon planned, and I had picked an ultra that I was going to do, that I was going to train. I was going to take 2 weeks off, do my taper runs and stuff like that. And I was going to do a 50K race in North Carolina. And all of that came like crashing down on me when I got this diagnosis. And it's hard because people are uncomfortable with you being uncomfortable, so they try to do this sort of toxic positivity, and it's not helpful. I've sort of been in my feels the last few days. I keep going back to the fact that my doctor said 6 months. My PT said 1 year. We're gonna go with Rachel on this one. We're gonna go with PT because she works with the local university sports teams. So I'm gonna believe her. Although she's already emailed me, which is crazy to me. I've never had such good medical care as I've had moving to the South. I have an amazing team that talks to each other. If my neurologist needs to say something to my GP, or my GP needs to say something to my osteo, or my osteo has to say something to my physical therapist, all of it, they just email each other. Then they email me. But anyway, Rachel had my physical therapist, my PT. She emailed me to see how I was doing. I explained that I'm having a really hard time getting out of bed, so she gave me some strategies for getting in and out of the bed, which I'm going to give a go. I just realized my hair is jacked, and I really need a haircut, but there's nowhere to get. I'm not getting there. Um, but yeah, so it's it's been rough. Emotionally, it's been rough, and I know a part of that is this sort of mentality of do. Don't be lazy. Man up, woman up, blah, blah, blah. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Shut up. It's like this stupid voice in my head that I don't want there anymore. And it's so hard to like reconcile that. What if I could never, what if I couldn't run? What if they said I couldn't run? I would have to find a way to grieve that out and figure out how I'm going to live my life. And I think this has enabled me to sort of try to look at the different aspects of my life that maybe I wasn't allowing as much enjoyment for. Um, But yeah, it's just been, there's good days and bad days. Yesterday was great. Today I woke up agony. And I think it's like my actual incision hurts, but I can't see it because it's covered in one of these things. Which is actually, this is the replacement one. This isn't the one that, I don't even know what this is. What is this? Oh, these are just like gauzes they gave me. Basically, they gave me this extra one. Like, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like one of those, you peel a thing off, and so I have one of those on now, from surgery. So I can't tell what's going on there. I can tell that there's less bruising because there was definitely bruising from them having to literally cut my leg open and saw off things. Um, so I won't actually see the incision until the 30th. Um, and I hope they go in there and clean it and do all sorts of things because I just feel like it's grotesque. But um, I feel like it's the incision itself. That's, like when you get like cut, or you get like stitches, or you get something, and then all of a sudden things start itching because they're healing. I don't know if our grandparents were right about that. It's healing. Um, it's just like every so often I get this, like, it's like an intense like inner itch on my leg. Um, I don't know. I'm just in my feels today. It's hard. It's hard to get ready for Shabbos and do all the things, and you know, I don't know. It's hard to kind of do it alone. Um, but also, something that I've sort of discovered is that the only people who really understand this is people who've gone through this, because it's so hard for people to empathize. They, they don't know how to react to this. I don't think I've ever had that problem because I can pretty much empathize with pretty much. You have to be a pretty evil prick for me not to empathize with you. You have to be like a terrible, terrible human being for me to judge you or not empathize with you. So it's the other thing I noticed, and somebody else said this on TikTok, your lips are like super dry after surgery. And she had her surgery like weeks and weeks ago, and she's like, my lips are still killing me. I was like, yep, same. So I don't know if they had. I don't know if they tubed me. I don't think they did. Um, but yeah, I'm sort of rambling on in this one. I don't know. Just trying to give myself some grace. Cut myself a break. Which I feel like is hard because I feel like a lot of people don't cut me a break or give me grace. So like, why would I give it to myself? But it is Shabbos. I'm going to do the best that I can and light the candles later. I have some garbanzo beans soaking. I'm going to make a Spanish garbanzo stew for Shabbos. Um, Shabbos afternoon. Tonight we'll order out. I like it now because like Shabbos isn't until like 7 something in the evening, so like ordering out is perfectly fine. It's when you start getting like 3 o'clock, 3:30 sundowns, you're like, well, probably shouldn't be spending money right now, but we're not that serious, but we try not to. But yeah, it's hard because it's really nice out. I don't get to really do much out. I live in a really great place, and I feel like I'm kind of missing it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But all around, my leg is feeling. What I did notice the other day is that it's much easier for me to get out of a chair because before I couldn't pivot my hip. So that's a plus. Like if I'm currently sitting at my dining room table, so when I go to get up, I will have to go this way to get up. There's my handy dandy walker. I will have to turn. It is not nearly as bad as it was. The painfulness comes from the incision. The painfulness comes from the fact that that ball joint hasn't developed any. I don't know what goo, cartilage, whatever it is that needs to happen in there for my body to do. That I've noticed. Going to the bathroom, easier to sort of sit. Um, Being able to put my legs up in the recliner, easier. Um, Sleeping, no. No. Sleeping is absolutely horrid. Um, I don't know if I've shared this with you guys, but like I take a lot of meds in general. So right now I'm on a lot of meds, on top of a lot of meds. And one of the meds I take is something called gabapentin. And I also take, I do like melatonin for 4 weeks at a time. By the way, if you do melatonin, you should not be on it constantly. And you probably shouldn't be going above 5 milligrams. Just going to put that, I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying that those gummies that you get, uh, are probably not good for you. You have to be fairly consistent for a few weeks and then take a break. But either way, so melatonin is super known for giving you very, very vivid dreams. Gabapentin is known for not only giving you very vivid dreams, but like weird ones. And so they make you like, your doctor is always checking in, like, how are you sleeping? Are you having nightmares? Because once you start having consistent nightmares on gabapentin, they have to take you off. So the gabapentin is actually for my restless leg syndrome, because if not, I'm just sort of paddling away at sleep. And um, the dreams are crystal clear, but make absolutely no sense. So then I just wake up in pain and thoroughly fucking confused. Um, Appetite's a little bit better, but I think I'm just sort of forcing myself to eat 3 meals a day. It's definitely not something where I'm like, oh, I really wish I had whatever. I'm just literally trying to eat as healthy as humanly possible. Um, Soaked chia seeds and milk kefir, water kefir with lunches, lots of probiotic stuff like food, not probiotic pills, probiotic foods, yogurts, um, you know, um, bananas, which I hate, but the potassium helps with the leg pain. Um, Walnuts, things like that, and trying to have, because if you start eating really shitty and you're recovering from something, your body's going to react. It's not gleaning anything from crap. Doesn't mean that I don't ever eat crap. The other night I had a couple pieces of chocolate. I really felt like it. That was the first time I had a craving. But I'm not really super duper not craving anything. Um, So yeah, so I just sort of eat as healthy as humanly possible and just shove it down my throat, because I need it for the pills and everything else. Because if not, I get really nauseous. I can't take a whole bunch of these pills on an empty stomach. And to me, it's not worth it to be sitting there sort of gagging, and because I hate vomiting. I turn into an absolute child if I vomit. I'm 2 years old. I'm screaming for anyone to come save me. I hate vomiting. Um, so yeah, so but I haven't had to take any of like the Colace or the whatever this is. I forget what it's called. Like the real name of it is. I don't know what this is. It's not Malox. That's that white stuff. Whatever this stuff is. I only had to take that once, but I'm not taking any of the Colace or anything. I'm doing fine in that department. At least, thank God. Um, yeah, it's just emotionally, I'm in a weird place. So I'm hoping that Shabbos sort of kicks that out. It makes me feel a little bit better. I miss going to the farmer's market. I miss um, going for my walks. I miss walking the dogs as much as they're like a pain in my actual ass. And I think they miss it too. They don't understand why I'm not in the office. They don't understand why I'm not the one walking them. They don't understand why they can't come for pets on the left side of me. Peach is unimpressed with that. Peaches is unimpressed. Um, they don't understand what's going on. Um, yeah, so hopefully Shabbos nips that in the ass and I'll be all right. But I just wanted to give you guys an update. But I wanted to really express to you about the fact that sometimes it's not comforting for someone to say, oh, you'll do something else. Running is a really big deal for me. Even my therapist was like, that's part of like your identity. You know, when you meet someone and like, well, what do you do? I hate that. First off, I am definitely not defined by my job. Maybe when I was a social worker, I was, save the world. But right now I'm in sales. That's not interesting. I don't dream about that. I don't, you know. But who I am, I'm a runner. I'm a hiker. I'm a camper. I'm an outdoorsy kind of person. You know, it's hard when you can't separate that. All right. Well, listen, you guys have a good weekend. Try to find me on TikTok. I have no idea how to post that on here, but it's Broken Body Rants. And no, it's My Name is M. That's what it is. My name is M. This is Broken Body Rants. Um, on TikTok. I make a lot more videos on there. This is more like if I'm going over 10 or 15 minutes, I'm on here because TikTok doesn't have that kind of time thing on it. But yeah, no, you guys have a good weekend and stay safe, stay out of trouble. If you can't stay out of trouble, don't get caught. All right, bye, guys.